Hello everybody, this is Sheldon Briscoe of Shelrock Art. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the Artist Hood of the Traveling Pores collab. My part on this collab with 5 wonderful artists is going to be a traveling funnel flip cup pour. I'm going to be flipping a cup into a funnel, but I chose the funnel because it has a small opening for the size canvas. This is a 10 by 10 inch canvas, and so it's not going to release too much paint that's going to make it too wide. Also, I chose a flip cup as opposed to the traditional funnel pour because I didn't want the colors to come out one at a time, but I actually wanted the colors to come out randomly. I got this technique from Pouring Paul. He's a wonderful artist on Instagram. You should check him out. Many of my pieces that I've shown on Facebook actually kind of resemble his, but I want to give credit where credit is due. I did not learn this alone, but I watched his videos on Instagram and I really love the way they look. You should really go check it out. He has a very minimalistic look to his pieces. And so while I'm getting my spatula ready here, I'll be going over the colors pretty soon. And so we can stay tuned for that. My base coat is going to be a blue-black. It's a phthalo blue, and it's Amsterdam is the brand. Phthalo blue and lamp black mixed together, so it kind of gives like a very dark blue. And after that, I will add the colors, and each of the colors has 1 to 2 drops of silicone with it. And I'm going to be spreading this base out on the canvas first, and then I will go over the colors with you after I spread this color out onto the base. Now, as for my colors, this first color is a prism pour color. It's called Golden Poppy, and it's a very nice shimmery color. It has like a gold feel to it, but it also has a kind of an orange tone to it as well. And then following that color will be Northern Lights, and that's also a prism pour. No, it is a Primary Elements color that is blue, but it's also mixed with Amsterdam light blue. But I use Amsterdam colors because some of these colors make great cells as well. The cells are nice and round and has a crisp edge to them. So I like to use a tube paint like Amsterdam to mix in with some of the prism pour colors. Then, following that, my next color will be Silver by Amsterdam. If you notice, my consistency is leaving a little bit of a trace. It's kind of thick, but not way too thick. But it's leaving a trace before it falls. This next color here is Ultramarine Violet Light, and that's an Amsterdam color as well. And again, these colors have 1 to 2 drops of silicone in it. So this is not the bloom technique, but this is what you would normally do with a flip cup, so to speak, to get the cells. This right here is a prism pour color. It's a nice bright red called Big Apple. And then lastly, this is Titanium White by Amsterdam. So we got some nice colors here to work with. Now, before I get started on a piece, I usually, I don't want to waste a lot of paint with all this trial and error. So before I get started on a larger piece like a canvas, I like to do a test piece on a tile just to see how the colors come out, how the cells form, and how they would look with the colors together. So here's a test piece right here, and you can see how round those cells are and how the edges of those cells look. And that's basically what I'm looking for in the technique that I'm doing. So you see how round those cells are against that dark background. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to put our base coat down. It is again that mix of Amsterdam Pthalo blue with the Amsterdam lamp black, and you can see that it is pouring out very dark, almost black, but you can still see some of that blue in there. And then now that I put that down, I'm going to take Mr. Handy Dandy, my Handy Dandy spatula, and I'm going to spread this all the way out to the edges. And then afterward, I'm going to make sure that I got the sides coated too. And this way, it can flow off very easily from the edges. Now, one thing I do notice that about this recipe, which is 1 part water, 1 part PVA glue, 1 part Amsterdam pouring medium, half a part rather, Amsterdam pouring medium, and a half a part of US floetrol. So that's my pouring medium for all the colors, including my base. But it dries so nicely, these colors here. Even though it's 75 degrees inside of my apartment, it still takes a couple days to dry, but it does dry nicely, and it dries flat without cracking. And when you do a pour like this, so you don't lose a lot, you still will have some sort of thickness of paint left on the canvas. So it will take a couple of days to dry, but generally it will dry flat. Okay, folks, now I got all my color, my base coat spread all around, and I'm cleaning off my spatula because I always want to keep a little neat area. I don't want paint all over the place. And so once I do this, then I'm going to be giving this piece a torch. I want to make sure that these bubbles, or there's no bubbles in the base coat. I want to give it a quick torch. And after giving it a torch, then I'm going to layer my cup, and then that'll be ready to flip into the funnel so I can go into that spiral pattern. So at the moment, I'm beginning to layer my cup. And yes, that was my son's foot walking past. But I'm sorry I'm off camera while I'm layering the cup. But I just wanted to be able to layer the cup. And, well, I'm recording by myself, so layering the cup is pretty hard to make sure that you're in the view of the camera. But I'm layering it in 2 layers so that the colors can come out very random as I flip it into the funnel. Okay, now that I got my cup all layered, I'm going to flip it into my funnel. But before I put my funnel down, I'm going to add a little more base coat in the center just to give it something to float on. And I'm going to stick my funnel right in the center and then dump my paint in there like a flip cup. Just dump it right in, almost dirty pour style. And then I just move the paint around, lift the funnel up slightly so that it just glides over the surface of the canvas as I'm going around in a slow spiral. I'm trying to be careful, and then I'll just come off this edge here. Then what I will do is I'm going to give it a small spin at first, and then after the small spin, I'm going to give it a little bit of a torch, just checking to see how much paint I had left in the cup. So here's my small spin, and then after that, I'm grabbing the torch and I'm going to torch it in small areas. I don't want to carry the torch all over the place. I'm just trying to select areas in which I want the cells to appear. So that's what I'm doing at this moment. And then it's always important not to spin right away. After you torch, give it a sec and watch the silicone work on the paint and allow some of those cells to begin to expand. And then once you notice that they expanded to your satisfaction, you might want to either tilt it or spin it out. But in my case, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to tilt it a little bit to adjust the composition, to make sure to see how the paint's moving on the surface. Because if it's moving too fast, then it's going to mess up the composition if I decide to just go ahead and try to do some tilting. But instead, I'm just moving it back and forth to kind of help widen out some of the cells. And then after that, I'm going to give it a final spin. And hopefully that will be done with. And from this point, I can examine how the composition turns out to make sure that I'm satisfied with it. Okay, now that I'm looking it over, I'm really admiring some of those different colors, the different new colors I see in there, some of that green, some of that yellowish looking color. And when the orange blended with some of those other colors, it even gave us some pastel feels to it. So I'm really happy with the way things turned out on this piece. And I'm going to get you down for a closer a closer look very shortly. All right, so stay tuned for that. Okay, folks, let's zoom in on this piece. This is the final wet result. Look at those nice round cells. That cell structure is lovely. And the way I layered it did not highlight a lot of the bright colors, but it gave me some nice soft pastel feels to it. I see some of the red popped up, some of that blue. But when I was talking about the shape of those cells, they are just simply gorgeous. I love the way they shape. Some of those colors weren't even in there, like the greenish looking colors. That wasn't in there, but those colors mixed and came together very lovely. So I like the way this one really turned out. And I hope you like it too. But again, I say happy pouring and thank you for watching. Good night.